Hello and welcome to a bit more of a sombre Into the Black archive after we got the news yesterday, which the amazing William Russell had sadly passed away. And with the news, me and James thought we would get together and discuss some of his favourite moments from the show, because he was the first companion on the show. He joined us at the very start of our Black Archive journey of going through and watching some of the old episodes all the way back to those rusty, let's put a polite spin on it, rusty black and white days. So what are some of your favourite memories of William Russell in the show?
That's a good question. Hello, everybody. A bit of a sombre episode, this, but one thing that's important to note is it's not like William Russell had a bad run. I mean, he was 99 years old. He was, of course, in Doctor Who at the very, very start, did a whole season and a half, and that was when Doctor Who was like on for 10, 11 months of the year. So
yeah, it was a year.
Long work.
It wasn't anymore that 8 week stuff. Like 8 weeks was the length of one story back then.
Yes, well, more than that. I mean, I think they were longer.
Yeah, there was a few.
He never made it to the War Games, but that's when we hit 10 parts.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you say, a lot of episodes that William Russell was part of, and so there's a lot of moments to mine. I think if you think back to Ian as a character, the very first male companion on Doctor Who, the vibe was, what if a school teacher was also Action Man, but also reserved? And it's a really interesting character in terms of, I can't think of many comparatives. And yet, he was a skilled enough actor where that seemed completely natural.
And that's the thing as well, when you go back to those first original black and white episodes, if it wasn't for the chemistry which those early companions, William Russell, Jacqueline Hill and Caroline Ford had, Doctor Who probably wouldn't be where we are today.
Well, that's, I think, why this news wasn't like a normal Doctor Who death. I mean, it's not as if Doctor Who deaths don't happen. Naturally, this is a show that's been going on for 60 years. People have gotten older. But William Russell's in particular hit quite hard, actually, yesterday when I saw it. It just felt like, not that it was, a tragedy, so to speak, but still it was very much, oh, that's a shame. He was really great. And you're absolutely right in saying that without the way those first episodes went off, because of the way those actors managed to find a chemistry together and make some of these, let's face it, bizarre storylines come across as plausible, you wouldn't have a Doctor Who lasting more than a year, 2 years. Especially
when you go back to the sort of attitude the first Doctor had. He was very abrasive, so they needed someone there to sort of cushion that blow a little bit.
What most people don't know is if you watch Doctor Who's just casually and you've not gone back through the classics, which is a fine way to experience it, in the very first story of Doctor Who, he tries to kill a caveman and hide it. He tries to beat someone with a rock.
Don't they have a third story? Doesn't the first Doctor as well have a third story, The Edge of Destruction? I think we called it like The Edge of Madness. Like that, when they're just trapped inside the TARDIS. Doesn't the first Doctor try and kill Ian at some point? Or threaten to?
Does he try to throw them out of the TARDIS at one point?
Yeah.
Just throw them into the vortex, like, I will deal with this right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was... Obviously, William Hartnell was playing a Doctor that is comparatively much older than most Doctors we get now. And the vibe with him was very cantankerous. So actually, because of the way the Doctor was, in some ways, Ian Chesterton is almost more of a blueprint for what the Doctor is now than what the first Doctor was.
Yeah, I've seen some people refer to Ian Chesterton as the first main character of Who rather than the Doctor.
Yeah, absolutely true.
Just because no one really wanted to be with that first Doctor initially.
But with Ian as a character, you just wanted to spend more time with them because they had this combination of being not cantankerous and nice. Additionally, they were knowledgeable because they were a history teacher.
And that was the main reason of getting teachers back in the day, because they wanted to be able to teach people about history and science. So that's why Ian was a history teacher and Barbara was a science teacher.
Exactly right. And that's also why Ian Chesterton and Barbara's names are on Coal Hill School on the 50th anniversary as sort of teachers emeritus, because that is exactly why Doctor Who came into being. It was effectively an educational show that has now turned into the behemoth Disney Plus entertainment product that we know today.
I think looking back, my main memories of interest, and there's loads of different instances of it. I think it happened in the Keys of Marius, the Aztecs, but because it was always for fight scenes,
yes.
And because of how TV was made back then, it was always so slow, laborious. Basically, it was like theatre fighting because they couldn't do any sharp cuts. Everything had to be there.
Yeah, exactly. The camera would be left running, and so you'd get these frankly surreal sequences in which William Russell would be told, you have to fight this man who's dressed as a bug. You figure that out for yourself. And so they end up just sort of swinging vaguely, and then someone in the composition department is just told, add a bit of spice to this. But the thing is, he makes it seem believable, which is incredibly impressive.
And the other thing to remember as well is that he never really left Doctor Who behind, because it was meant to start in Marion Undead, the sixth Doctor story. He sadly couldn't make the filming, but he was meant to be there. He started doing fan projects when Doctor Who went into its wilderness years. He then went forward and did all for a load of Big Finish stuff, and even an Adventure in Space and Time, that sort of like docudrama which we had about the startings of Doctor Who. He was in there. He was playing the parking attendant.
Yep, correct. It's a small cameo. There's another fun fact I know about Bill Russell, which is that he is the oldest actor to play the Doctor in any Doctor Who media, because he actually plays the first Doctor in a Big Finish story.
Yeah, and of course he won the world record for longest time gap. It was either gap or longest time playing a character. Gap. Because he, of course, came back and played Ian for that short clip in For St. Henry, where we learned, sadly, about how ill he was.
Yeah, I mean, the wonderful thing about that clip was, for us, having watched all of those episodes and gotten to know that character inside out, to actually see Bill Russell at, 98, 97 at that time, coming on just for a scene, just for a couple of scenes, absolutely wonderful. I'll give Chris Chibnall a lot of credit for that. Not something I always say.
Yeah, it definitely cheered us up, that all of the cameos at the end of that episode.
Yeah, that whole Doctor Who Companions Anonymous meeting.
So if you want to go back and watch William Russell's best bits, of course we've got him in our back catalogue. If you want to go away to the beginning of Doctor Who and Black Archive, you can watch along as see what we thought in real time. And until then, we have got Devil's Chord hopefully coming out in a few days, our discussion about that. And yeah, any final words, James?
Just that if there's ever been a good time to go back and watch the very early Doctor Who, now it's all on iPlayer, thanks to the BBC's 60th anniversary work, do go and give it a go, and you can start to see why we are simultaneously sad but also celebratory about William Russell, and may he rest in peace, and obviously all love and condolences to his family.
See you next time. Bye.